Well, welcome back again. I know it's a little bit less than 24 hours from the last video that I uploaded. I intended to do just a short to give an update because I left some things hanging in the last video as far as needing the O-rings to come in and things of that nature. But I actually got a little bit more done today that would have exceeded the 60-second time limit on a short. So I'm going to basically just do this standard video to display what I've done to finish up the stuff that I started on yesterday. First of all, I did get the O-rings in. I ended up having to go to O'Reilly Auto Parts. Everywhere that I looked on Amazon for the O-rings. They had them dirt cheap, but the problem was unless I wanted to pay $50 expedited shipping, I wouldn't get them for 2.5 weeks. Summit has them. That's a 50-mile drive one way, so that's gas money right there. Everywhere else wanted $2.95 for the 10 O-rings, but wanted to charge me $20 in shipping. So I looked around and came across O'Reilly. I'll show you what I've got there in the midst of all this video as well. So let me show you what we've gotten done. Okay, first of all, I went to AutoZone looking for the O-rings because it's the closest auto parts store to my location. I've become very frustrated, not with AutoZone in general, but just with this particular AutoZone because they never have anything in stock. I always have to order it. V-belts, O-rings, whatever. I looked at, I told him what I was wanting, demonstrated the fitting that it went to needed to be green because the green O-rings are different than the black ones. Guy looked at me with a blank stare and then showed me this package of an assortment of O-rings for $8. It had 2 of the one that I needed 5 of, and they didn't have another one. So I would have ended up spending $14 to $21 on a package just to get those 5 O-rings out of it, and they didn't have them in stock anyway. Then went to O'Reilly, who I've had better luck with, but they're a little bit further away, so I didn't stop there first. This is what I got. This package right here is what I purchased from O'Reilly, and while it's a bit overkill, the fact of the matter is in future builds I might have a place for all of these anyway, and this was only an $11 package. You can see it's got a wide variety of the green O-rings. First they showed me the black O-rings, and I had to advise them that the black O-rings wouldn't stand up to the PAG oil in my experience. I needed the squishy green ones like this. They showed me that, $11, let me open it up to make sure it fit. We're good to go on that. As noted previously, all of the connections under the hood are now complete. Everything is done as far as hoses go. I'm probably going to do plug wires in the next video. The hood fits back onto it. Everything's good to go. Everything fits. Since that time, I have installed on the dryer this switch. This is a trinary switch. A binary switch basically allows the clutch to the AC to kick on and off based on what the thermostat is telling you, but you need a trinary switch if you have an electric fan, because what this trinary switch does is it senses when you turn the air conditioner on, builds up pressure, it automatically triggers the electric fan to turn it on to keep the car cool. So that is installed and it's awaiting wiring. One of the wires goes to ground. You've got one that goes to a trinary switch wire inside the car, which I will show you, and the other one goes to that compressor over there to kick it on and off. Okay, in here, all the connections are now done. The O-rings are in place, so all of the plumbing is completely done. I have now plugged back in the water valve for the heater. I've plugged in the defroster actuator here, this actuator right there. This is the thermostat that I had to plug in. If you recall, I said before I put this cover on, I had to plug something into that coil. That's the thermostat that leads to this. So this is going to be the thermostat. This plug here is plugged into the harness. Now on this harness, you can see you've got directional, and you've got some temperature findings, or temperature knobs as well. This right here is for the fan. This wire right here is for a resistor that I've got to acquire because apparently it does not come with the air conditioning kit. No big deal, I can take care of that. But basically the wiring on this green wire goes to the outside engine compartment and hooks up to that trinary switch that I was showing you just now. These two orange go straight to 12 volt. They are fused connections, and of course you've got the assorted ground. So this is a very, very simple system to hook up and get wired. And of course I will tie everything up and make it all nice and neat as well once I start the wiring phase of the car. This is the pigtails for the Trinary switch that they got right there. That black thing right there, that is a plug that the dryer comes with. If you can see, it has a plug on the front and it had one on the back where that Trinary switch was. I elected, of course, to mount that on the back for a neater presentation. This was the goal when I started doing these hoses, is I didn't want them to intrude on the cleanliness of the actual engine compartment. The hood is on it. As you can see, this being a half hood, the engine is exposed for the headers and everything. I wanted that look for the old school street rod look, but you can see the bulkhead looks nice and neat. The hoses are routed in a way to where they are not sticking out or blocking the view of the engine. Everything is nice and neat and routed cleanly, so there's no issues there. You can see my tolerances here are enormously close, but close is not interfering, and that's good enough. This is the switch right here that goes to, this is the plug rather, that goes to that Trinary switch. That turns the compressor on and off when you trigger it, of course. This right here is the fan connection. One of these connectors will go to the Trinary switch, and of course the other is to ground and to power, and I'll need a resistor for that. Of course, that's all coming. Now, in the next video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to start the wiring process on this. If I hear from Nathan at Hurricane and I get the dash on the way, of course, I'm going to start really hitting the wiring on the Cobra, because I want to get the wiring done on the Cobra. I can't do it till the dash gets here because I want to be able to wire up the dash and everything. I don't want to leave a bunch of wires hanging crazily. So that's why I've been putting that off and concentrating on the 32 for now. But as soon as that dash comes in, I'll mount the gauges and start the wiring on that as well. But body harnesses on both cars is what's next. We'll walk you through that and get everything going. Of course, I've got power windows and ignition and the air conditioning and heater and gauges and all of that stuff is part of the body harness. Once the wiring is done and I've got confirmation that everything works, the engine turns over, things of that nature, I'm not going to try to start it until I get exhaust on it, because I like to be able to actually hear the engine, so that way if the valve train has got any issues or the valves are clattering or something like that, I can actually hear them when I've got the exhaust on it. So once the wiring is done on the 32, I'll take it to the exhaust shop. Once it's back from the exhaust shop, we'll start working on getting it a first start. Now on the Cobra, of course, the exhaust is already done. Once I get it wired, we're going to go forth and see if we can get that thing started as well. So we're coming right along on these projects. Be sure and hit subscribe because there's a lot of stuff coming in real soon. The weather is a little bit more tolerable today. I'm still drenching in sweat, but it's in the mid-90s and the heat index is below 100 so far today. It is supposed to get a little bit warmer today, so I'm going to take it easy for the remainder of the afternoon. I just wanted to post this video right here to finish up what we started yesterday. Thank you for joining me. Come back and see us.